So before we start this review, we're going to talk about Mattel losing the Multiverse or DC license. Whenever toy companies, like everybody always asks me, what are your thoughts about them losing the license? What are your thoughts about them gaining the license? Here's how I look at it. I come in my toy room. I have almost 10,000 action figures in here. If they stopped making action figures tomorrow, I would be totally cool with it because I definitely have enough. I still enjoy these. I don't have to keep adding to my collection to enjoy my collection. I could come in here, reorganize it, build teams, dust it, clean it, set it up different, and I would be totally cool with that for the rest of my life. Not to mention I'd save like $9,000 a year if they did stop making action figures. I don't think that day will ever come. They make so many action figures now, it's like, when is the bubble going to burst? I know everybody's wallet's hurting. I know they're making way more action figures than we can collect. We're forced to pick and choose. We can't buy all the figures we'd like to. At least there's no way that everybody has an endless action figure budget. So Mattel lost the DC license. I'm a little bummed out on it, I have to admit. I think that they're just now getting to a really cool level. They're one of the only action figures out there doing articulation without pins in it. And that's like my favorite thing. When you can do an articulation action figure with no pins, you won me over right there. Are these as good as Marvel Legends? Well, I kind of feel like they are, then sometimes they're not. Like they're hit and miss, but Marvel Legends is also hit and miss. The fact that they don't have pins in them is like, I love that. Now that they're finally making actually decent action figures, they lose the license. So that does kind of suck. And then McFarlane picked it up. Now, what's scary whenever a new company picks it up, of course he's going to make all the core characters. He's going to make all the Batmans, Supermans, Aquamans, Wonder Womans, all the figures that you already have probably 50 of, at least I know I do. If he's going to go ahead and do that, I hope that he makes the McFarlane version of Superman, which he said, Undercover Capes is at Toy Fair. They interviewed him, and they did say that he's basically, he can do whatever he wants to do. He has full range to do any DC figures that he wants to do. So of course he's going to do the ones that he did. Like, it would be really awesome to have a McFarlane version of Batman, which is basically a Batman version of Spawn, because you can definitely see the resemblance in those two, and I love it. So I'm kind of glad that they lost the license. I'm kind of glad that McFarlane is getting the license. I'm all over the place. Like, Mattel, I think, was doing pretty good. It's weird. It just, what I don't want is 50 more Supermans and 50 more Batmans. Enough about that. Let's go ahead and check these things out. I've been sitting on the set for over a month, except for I couldn't find Batman anywhere. I actually found all of these in Target. I just came up on him like 2 days ago. I found the rest of the set quite a while ago. You have the Ray, first time in your collection, really excited about getting him open. Then you have Spoiler. She also came with the Harley Quinn. I passed on the Harley Quinn because I already feel as if I have a better version of that Harley Quinn, and the CNC piece was a little underwhelming. First time ever in your collection, definitely looking forward to her. Then you have Wonder Woman. This is like the weakest link to me. I kind of feel like I already own this version of Wonder Woman. It's just another Wonder Woman in my collection. Plus, Mezco's making this Wonder Woman basically the same exact costume. I really don't even need that figure in my collection. I went ahead and grabbed him. He's only $10. I figured he'd be a good army builder. I wish that they would make him in a white version. It'd be nice to get him also. And plus, I don't see that thing very often, and I really don't. Like, my Army Day bills, like, building days are over just because I can barely afford to keep up on this. We've already looked at this Batman. I've already talked about this Batman, just that I couldn't find him. I already have, I think, a better version of this Batman. So, once again, I didn't even need this figure at all. I just needed the CNC piece. I might not even keep that figure in my collection. I don't need two of the same exact version of Batman. I'll just keep the better one. And then you have Vixen, which I have tons of great Vixens, but Vixen, I love the character. So I don't mind having a bunch of Vixens. It's not like I got 50 of them. I probably have like 4 of them. Looking forward to getting these open, putting that CNC together. Let's check them out. Alright, got them all opened up, lined up. You can check the scale out of them while I'm talking about them real quick. Down here you have the General. He's not really even in the set. I thought he was a cool build him. He's only $10. We will go ahead and check these things out one at a time. That was my Comtech reader. For some reason it just does that. Then you have the Ray. Definitely a cool figure. First time getting him. This is the CNC. First time getting that version of Lex Luthor. I went ahead and put the alternate head on him, the Doomsday head. I definitely think that makes him pop a little bit more. Then you have Spoiler. First time getting her. Vixen. I thought I had a ton of Vixens. Apparently I don't. I will show you those later in the video. Then you have the Gaslight Batman. And I do have him. I pulled out the other ones. We'll go ahead and look at those too. After looking at the other ones, I actually think this one's pretty decent. Then you have the Wonder Woman. The Wonder Woman, it just seems like, I don't know, like we just keep getting Wonder Woman over and over. And this version looks just like the movie version. Let's check them out. Alright, so here's the General. Like I said earlier, I wish it would have just given us a cheap repaint in white for I could get one of those too. I would like to, you know, like get like 3 of these things, but man, I mean, they're only $10. It's just really hard to do now. Just all the money we're spending on action figures. Shar yelled at me for not going over articulation, so I will touch on it really quick just because there's a good chance that you guys don't have these. DC Multiverse, I actually like their articulation a lot. This one, you get nothing on the ankle just because he's a cheap figure. You get a single knee, which is cool because it's a cheap figure. You have, I guess, just back and forth on the legs. And then on the waist, he turns, no ab crunch. On the shoulders, you have a ball, single elbow. And the wrists actually have the good wrist joint on them. They swivel, they do everything. The head is also on a ball. This figure is pretty cool. I like him. He's a $10 action figure for $10. Absolutely pick him up if you can afford it. If you're rich, and go ahead and pick up like 3 or 6 of these things. I mean, why wouldn't you? And then you have the Ray. His accessories are 2 extra hands. He gives you 2 extra hands to hold stuff, but he doesn't have anything to hold. Be nice if he had like a lightning effect or something like that he could hold. And he also comes with 2 fisted hands. And then this is his face where the fin is like kind of crooked and he's not smiling. I just went ahead and went with the smiling one. I just think it makes the figure look a little bit better. A little extra paint there for the teeth. And this one, the mohawk thing, is actually straight. I think they killed it with this figure. I actually think this figure is amazing. How they do the butt on this thing is kind of weird as far as the articulation goes, because the legs won't go back, and that's, I don't get why they do that. They go forward all the way. They have the thigh cut, which I don't really like. The double knee with no pin. Check that out. All the line work is just painted on for you can reuse the bodies. I mean, we're used to seeing that. Love that knee joint, the ankle. You know, it has a hinge and it has a pivot, which is like the best pivot out there now. Everybody's complaining that they didn't have a pivot. Now they're like killing the pivot game. He does turn at the waist here. That joint actually doesn't look too bad to me. He has the ab crunch that I normally don't like, but since the jacket covers it, it doesn't bother me. It just goes forward and back. I just don't really dig that. The head is on a ball. You know how the ball works. The shoulder is on a ball. You know how that works. Bicep cut right there. It doesn't really work with the jacket. I kind of wish that he didn't even have it. Only time I really like that is when it like cuts right around their bicep muscle. Single elbow, which I'm sure most of you guys hate, and I'm not a big fan of the guys with the single elbow. I kind of feel like the guy figure should have the double elbow. There's the Ray. As far as the Superman Lex goes, here's the alternate heads. The only thing I'm missing is that little power cube that comes with Harley, but I didn't get the Harley, and I'm not going to get the Harley. I mean, I know my buddy picked one up for $9, but he didn't get me one. I would have got one for $9, but I didn't see it. The Lex head is actually pretty cool. I'm going to keep this head, see if I can't put it on like a suited chameleon body or something, because like the only version of Lex that I don't have is that. I'll go ahead and throw that on there. I should just throw that on there now if we kind of know or not. I don't see one close. I'll put it on the pictures on the end of the video. As far as this Superman goes, I like this head on it better. I got tons of like Lex Luthors and armor suits. I didn't want to pull them all out because I have too many. I'll probably just take a picture of that and put that on the end of the video. I think they killed it with this figure. This is exactly what he looks like in the comic books. I love it. I could just take a cube or something out of something I already have and put it in there if I want it. Who knows, maybe I'll see that Harley for like $10 and pick it up someday. The articulation on this, God, I really don't want to do it. It's basically the same. It turns here at the waist, same crunch, same double knees with no pin, same ankle pivot. I actually really like this bicep, the cut right here. That's when they do it right. Like, you can't even tell that that's a joint, and obviously the cape falls out really easy. It just plugs into that little slot. It looks really good. It doesn't stay in really good. You could put a drop of glue on it, but you really don't have to. And then they got cheap for some reason on the hands. They only turn. They don't have like that ball and joint thing right there. So that kind of sucks, but doesn't really suck that bad for it. Doesn't bother me. And then you have the spoiler, which she's basically looks like the DC version of like the Hawkeye girl version, which I'll go ahead and pull that out at the pictures of the end. I think they killed it with this figure. For some reason, they did the weird hip joint on that, which I can't stand. But the rest of it, I don't know. They got the single knee, no pin. I guess, all right, the articulation on this thing kind of sucks. But the figure itself looks really cool. It's the first time getting her. I love how the hood is like bunched up. Well, maybe I don't. That makes no sense. Why is there a bunched up hood here? And then she has a hood on. I don't know. It seems like that should be flat. That just looks a little weird. Like if the hood was down, I could see that being the hood. The little pouches are kind of thin. She looks cool. I mean, anytime I can put a brand new character in my collection, it just really makes me happy. Then you have the Vixen, which is kind of lame because she comes with the Masters of the Universe Eagle. I got tons of those things up there. And it doesn't really have a place for her to like, the eagle to like grab onto her or anything. So it's, I mean, I'm glad they put it in. The accessories with this set is just really, really weak. Here she is up close. I think they did a great job on the hair. The earrings are like whatever. Well, wait till you see the DC collectible one that I'm getting ready to pull out here. Then you'll see why. I'll go ahead and put these in the background while you have something to look at. So right here is like one of the best action figures that I own in my collection. It's obvious to see why. They absolutely killed it with that action figure. I love the bracelets on that, like real metal hoops. Of course, the articulation sucks, but who cares when you got an action figure that actually looks that good compared to this? Yeah, it's, you know, you can't have it all. And then you have the TV show one, which I'm completely over all these superhero TV shows. Like, they have just completely worn me out. I am starting to watch the Doom Patrol. I'm only on the first episode, and that's actually looking pretty cool, at least for now. But I get burned out on them so quick, just like 3 episodes in, and I think I'm about done. I wish they would just do like comic book superhero movies, because I love those. She's got a nice butt on her. Once again, you got the legs that won't go back because they hit the butt cheek, which is weird. Then you have the double knee, which is awesome because it has no pin. The same ankle that I showed you before. The same elbow that I showed you before. And she does have the good wrists on them. The ab crunch on the female figures I absolutely love. I love it when they cut it right under the boobs there. It hides really well, works really well. I love it, man. It's like when you see an action figure like this, it sucks that they're losing the license. And it makes me wonder what McFarlane's going to do. Are they going to do the same scale? Are they going to do a similar style? Are we going to be able to put their figures in with our other figures? I'm not real sure. As far as this Gaslight by Batman goes, I do have a couple other ones back here. At least I'm pretty sure that one is. If I'm wrong, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure you guys will let me know. So here's the DC collectible one. I thought this thing was really cool until I pulled it back out. It was all the way in the back of the shelf, and after looking at it, it's really not that cool. It does have a lot of cool sculpted detail on it with the wrinkles and everything, but it's actually not that cool of a character. So now I will be keeping this one on the shelf, even though it looks like a McDonald's Happy Meal toy. The face looks like crap, looks really cheap. They did a real fabric cape, which I like, but that also looks really cheap. And this side just, I mean, this toy just looks really cheap. But they did the sculpted wrinkles on that one too. I don't know, it's just like cheap plastic or something. Like you look at this, it actually looks like a little piece of art. Like it's, you know, it looks good. Like everything painted on there. It actually looks pretty good. He has the little knives on there. This one also has the little knives on here. And a cool thing about the knives is that they even come out. And that is, it's awesome. Let me try to get this arm up because it hits on the cape. Here's one of the big knives. So nice touch. Well done. So for a figure that I wasn't even going to put on my shelf because I thought I had much better versions, I guess the head sucks. The build is cool. They actually put like a little paint on there, a little dry brush on there. That's something that a lot of other companies aren't doing. The articulation on this is exactly the same. No pins anywhere on this whole entire action figure. Definitely love that. This one, he's got that big elbow pin with a single elbow, which kind of sucks. This one also has a single elbow, but at least it doesn't have a pin. And then you have this one. I think this is a Gaslight Batman, but I'm not sure on that one. He's kind of pre-posed. He looks cool. He looks like a little miniature statue on your shelf, which I like him, but he's no big deal. And then you have the Wonder Woman, and I pulled out all the other Wonder Womans that have skirts on, not counting the movie one because that's kind of like a whole different video. So this one I thought was real similar. I actually think that the DC Collectible did a really good job on that. I love the face sculpt. I love how they did the eyes, the lips. Like, it looks cartoony, but it looks realistic all at the same time. I thought they killed it. This is I think it's a pretty old action figure too, and they still hit it out of the park. Then you have the DC Icons one, which is a line that I wish that I wouldn't have collected. It was something that I wish I would have just pick and choose on. I didn't. They actually got double jointed elbows, which is something everybody's screaming for Marvel Legends to do. Not me, because I think that looks like shit with the big pins and everything. But there's another Wonder Woman that looks very similar to the Wonder Woman that I'm getting. And then you have this Wonder Woman, which I just dropped her big giant sword. And she's also another Wonder Woman in a skirt, which is very similar to that Wonder Woman. And it's like, God, how many Wonder Womans do I need that look almost identical? And here's the one, the new one. She does come with an extra fisted hand. She comes with an extra lasso, which is cool. That I really like this. Then she can put a lasso in her hand, and she already has a clip on her belt, which most of the Wonder Womans come with that. Then she has a sword, but she doesn't come with a shield, and I think that that's kind of weird. The head sculpt on that is complete trash. I think it looks like shit. That's horrible. The hair looks like a mess. The head is just sucks. Like, everything about that just screams bad. So it just looks like a cheap toy. This Wonder Woman doesn't do anything for me. I really don't feel like I need to even keep this thing in my collection because the Mezco one's coming out, and I don't know, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I have so many Wonder Womans back there. Should probably take a picture and throw that on the end of the video too, just so you can see how many Wonder Womans I have. You guys that have been watching my channel for a while, you already know how many Wonder Womans I have. That's it. That's the end of the video. I'll put a bunch of pictures on the end with the collections that I didn't pull out because they were too big or the video would just be too long. And like always, guys, thanks for watching, man. I really appreciate it. Every one of you guys.